It's Monday. What's up, guys? Happy Monday. I'm Alexandra, founder of Life with Herpes. I'm excited to be going live, speaking with you today. Let's just get this Monday started. It's Monday morning for me, Pacific time. It could be lunchtime for you, or it could even be a different day for you. Anyways, I'm excited to be going live with you and talking about herpes. So if you are new to this and you're like, what are we talking about? I was diagnosed with oral herpes HSV 1 in 2003 and genital herpes HSV 2 in 2011. So I've been living with herpes for, almost 2 decades. It's not 2023 yet, but almost 2 decades. So I've been living with it for a long time. And this is my idea, my purpose, my focus is to be able to be educating you all on herpes, what it's like to live with herpes, what it's like to be someone with live with herpes and get over the stigma and get over your diagnosis and move through that and come out a stronger person. So as you guys know, if you're on here often, you know that I get hundreds of questions and I do my best to go through them all. I apologize up front if I can't get through them all, but so definitely ask your questions and I will get through as fast as I can. I love seeing the hearts, so thank you for the people that are giving me the hearts, and that's awesome. I love seeing that. And then if you know somebody that has herpes or if this message resonates with somebody that you think of, please feel free to share this information with them. Like I said, I do this so that I can bring support and awareness to people living with herpes. My dog right here is barking. Scarlett, camera shy. All right, so let me get to the questions. Let me get going and see. Hopefully I can get through as many as I can. I'm having it right now. It makes me so depressed. So you're having an outbreak right now. I know that outbreak can bring up a lot of that initial anger, frustration, resentment, guilt, shame, whatever word you want to throw in. It can bring that up. And especially if herpes is something that's new to you or you haven't had many outbreaks, it can bring you right back to that spot. I know there was a while I went, when I was first diagnosed, every time I get an outbreak, just that anger. I got type of mad, like Donald Duck that you can fry an egg on his head. You know, in cartoons, he gets so mad, he'd be bright red and you could literally fry an egg on his head. I would get to that point. Some things that are really important to realize is, use this as an opportunity to heal from it. Use this as an opportunity to say, okay, this is forcing me to go back and digest and focus and learn and reopen wounds, no pun intended, of something that I'm struggling from, a trauma that potentially happened in my life. And so use it as an opportunity to journal. Use it as an opportunity to take care of yourself. Don't try and fight through it. Use it as an opportunity to say, okay, my body is hurting, my body is healing, and I'm going to take some Epsom salt baths. I'm going to do some journaling. I'm going to spend some time out in the outdoors. I'm going to spend some time focusing on what this is. Someone got herpes in 2017, HSV 2, yep. Yay! You have herpes on your hands. Have you heard of that? Yes, it's called herpetic whitlow. And it's something that's very common, especially if you were a dentist. That was very common because dentists, didn't wear gloves. If you use, manicurists, things like that, because you come in contact with a lot of people's hands or open wounds. So what happens is the herpes virus will enter if there's an open wound. So most likely you had an open wound somewhere and that's where the virus entered. As far as how often you get outbreaks, that's going to be completely individual to you and how frequent they are. But yes, it is something that it's not as common, but it definitely does happen. Absolutely. What is the best way to tell a new partner? So Bree, I would look at first setting up your own expectations and your own boundaries. What are you looking to do? What are you looking to, sister, my puppy's barking at me. What is it you want? Are you looking at kind of a one-night stand? Are you looking at something like a longer-term relationship? I'm trying to scoot myself back here. What is it that you're interested in and what is it that you are working towards? So if you are interested in something that's very casual, I would just get right to it. Get right to it and talk about Just talk about, hey, let's talk about our sexual health. You know, I want you to know that I get tested regularly, or I get tested and I've been negative for these things and I'm positive for this. This is what I'm going to do to help prevent transmission to you. Let's hear a little bit about you. How often do you get tested? And it's really going to be important for you to set up your own boundaries. If the person's like, I don't get tested, I've never been tested, I don't need to get tested. And if you're cool with that, cool. If you're not cool with that, then say, you know what? I don't feel comfortable. If we're going to do this, we need to get tested. And that's typically something more casual. If it's something that is not as casual and it's a longer term relationship, looking for a relationship, I would wait till you're ready to be intimate. That could look like a couple days. It could look a couple months. I was just talking to someone and she was like, yeah, it's been 3 months, and we haven't done it. And I really like this guy and I really want to get there. And hi, sister. So it's a matter of setting your expectations. We have this idea that we need to jump to sex, and whereas that's fun and awesome and a beautiful thing, really what's important is that relationship and that confidence that we have between one another. So finding that between one another is going to be, in my opinion, more important than jumping into bed. So I would look at more of a conversation of sexual health. I would look more at a conversation of what do we want out of our relationship, expectations being met. Is one person monogamous and the other person dating multiple partners? Are you both monogamous? What do we want here? And then I would go forward with that. So that was a long answer for you, but you're looking for a male partner, you're HSV2 positive. Yeah. So I would just definitely set up your expectations of what you want. I don't think herpes should be hold you back in any way. Thank you, sister. You gotta compliment. People think you're beautiful. Her name is Scarlett. We call her sister because my son calls her sister. And it's funny when he sees people with other dogs, he's like, they have sisters. Okay. What about people you're newly dating? About herpes is really stigmatizing where you live. Is it really stigmatizing where I live? I think herpes is stigmatized everywhere, and it's as stigmatized as you want it to be. So there's stigmas for everything, and there's stigmas we just decide to either let it affect us or not let us affect us. What about people who are newly dating? So again, I would just enjoy the dating process, and when it gets to the point of ready to be intimate, then that's when you have the conversation about herpes. Are there dating sites for people with herpes? Yes, there are. There's a couple of dating sites. It's Meet People with Herpes and Positive Singles are the two dating sites. I've spent time working with both in the past. And again, it's just like anything, you still need to meet the person, and you still need to have the butterflies, you still need to have the connection. It's just a matter of, yes, you both have herpes. I wouldn't personally be so worried about finding somebody else that has herpes. I would be more concerned with finding somebody that meets your expectations of who they are as a person. If the person's really into you and you're really into that person, your herpes diagnosis will not matter. What's my favorite Tay-Tay song? Well, the one that just came first to mind was the one where she sings about children never growing up, because I have a 2-year-old and I'm like, stop growing. You're growing up so fast. I just got here and thought it was a relationship advice page. It is. We're talking specifically about herpes. We're talking specifically about disclosing. We're talking specifically about having disclosing conversations with herpes. So it's something that is really important. Setting up your own expectations when it comes to relationships is going to be a really important thing. And we have to discuss our sexual health. Whether you have herpes or don't have herpes, you have a very high chance that that person you are talking to, whatever, has herpes or has an STD, or you just need to have that sexual health conversation. If you don't have outbreaks, are you contagious? So You are contagious when you have outbreaks or when the virus is shedding. So viral shedding is something that's typically silent. It's something we don't know when you are shedding. It's something that's typically asymptomatic. So you are contagious asymptomatically, which is frustrating. So that's why herpes is so prominent, is because we are asymptomatic for it and we don't know that we have it, and we don't get tested for it, or we go and ask to get tested for it, but it's not included in the STI test, and then we don't know we have it. So asymptomatic shedding is when you are contagious. So if you're someone that never has outbreaks, that's awesome. There's a lot of people that are jealous of that. But yes, you can still transmit herpes, unfortunately. You read something about UB621 herpes long-acting treatment. Can you educate us more on that? I know nothing about this, so I'm going to have to look it up when we get off this live. I know nothing about that. So thanks for bringing that to my awareness. If you know something about it, let us know in the chat and we can kind of talk about it. Since herpes can spread to any part of your body, how do you make sure it doesn't spread to your child? So you mean in utero or now? In utero, the child, the infant, the fetus, whatever you want to call it, cannot contract it. It's skin to skin, so your child cannot get it in utero. Now, it's something that I realize I can't worry about. I can be as careful as possible, but my child, he's going to go to school. His teachers are going to have it. He has 4 teachers, so statistically, one of his teachers has it, right? And as he moves through life, he's going to be exposed to it with other people. So I do my best. Like if I have an outbreak, I obviously don't kiss him, or I don't let him come in contact with it. But I can't worry about it. There's other bigger things that I worry about when it comes to my son, and I can't worry about what if potentially I accidentally spread herpes to my son. I can just be aware of the conscious decisions I make to prevent it, like not kissing him with an outbreak, or not having a bath with him if I have an outbreak. Other than that, I can't worry about it. And that's me personally. I've been living with this for a long time, and I'm aware that I can do everything I possibly can to prevent transmission to my son, and then he can go over to somebody's house and borrow someone's chapstick and get it. So I can't. Is clashing viruses allowed, like someone with HIV dating someone with herpes or warts? So those are all different viruses. So HIV is different than HPV, that's different than HSV. There's lots of H's and V's in all of those viruses. We're specifically talking about herpes simplex virus, which is herpes. HIV is different virus, and HPV, human papillomavirus. So they're all different viruses. We're able to contract all of them. We're also able, having one doesn't make you get the other. They don't go into each other. It doesn't manifest into something else. So are you allowed to, is the clashing virus allowed, someone with HIV dating with someone with herpes? They'd all be different. So it'd be up to you and that partner if that's something you want to do. Did you still get outbreaks when taking the daily antivirals? No, I did not. But some people do get outbreaks with the antivirals. The antivirals do a really good job of suppressing the virus. It's something that if you choose to take that, it is very helpful. There's also some other natural things we can do, like there's some supplements, there's some vitamins, there's some topical things we can do. Meditation is really helpful. Our diet, those are all things that are really helpful naturally to help suppress it. Speaking about that naturally, as far as supplements, these are the supplements. So Lysine specifically is for herpes, and it is very, very, very helpful in preventing the replication of the herpes virus. So by taking this daily, it's a supplement. So it's meant to supplement your diet. If I'm not a doctor, I can't recommend, so do your own research, but you can talk to your doctor, but you can add this to your daily regime naturally to help prevent herpes outbreaks. Does it prevent them 100%? No, but neither does the antiviral. So nothing can 100% prevent outbreaks. But this is really helpful. And then I also like to take a Monolaurin with it. Monolaurin basically breaks down the outer shell of an enveloped virus. An enveloped virus is a herpes virus, and so this breaks down the outer shell. So I like to take these two in cahoots together daily to help prevent outbreaks. Then there's other things topically we can do. This is the Reviver soap. This is something that smells good. It is formulated, it's designed, it's formulated to help fight herpes virus, help wound healing, help in a lot of different ways. So this is something you can take even if you don't have herpes. You can use even if you don't have herpes. My son uses it. My husband uses it. It's just a great soap. We sell out of this literally all the time. So if this is something that you're interested in, I would recommend getting it. There's lots of other things too. Like right now we're into bath season, and the recovery soak is extremely helpful. I don't take enough baths. I'm going to tell you that right now. But it calms your nervous system naturally. When our nervous system is a wreck, that's what causes herpes outbreaks. So we need to calm our nervous system, and the magnesium in here will help do that naturally, as well as there's other essential oils and things that can help calm you down. They also help with wound repair, and they also help with soothing. So this is really, really helpful. I do have more bags of tricks, but I don't know if you guys want me to keep going. I guess I can. This is the #1 bestseller. It's the Rescue Balm. And this is something you can apply directly to a herpes outbreak. It's natural, and it is really, really helpful. It's like a nice soothing feeling. There's lemon balm, peppermint, eucalyptus. There's a lot of other great natural ingredients that, again, help with wound repair, help with pain management, help cleaning. It's antiviral, antibacterial, all these things in here that just help. And besides, it smells good. And it gives a nice little tingle when you put it on there. So I like to use those things naturally. I'm now on suppressive therapy for HSV, and I keep breaking out a lot and had close to 10 outbreaks. So that is frustrating. Here's a couple things I would do. #1, I'd go back to your doctor and ask your doctor, are you on the right dose? There's different types of antivirals. There's Valtrex, Acyclovir, Acyclovir. There might be one that works better for your body. #2, I'm not a doctor, but just from my own personal experience, if you're getting multiple outbreaks, there's something else going on in your body. So maybe you have another virus that your body's fighting that you're not even aware of. Maybe you are under a lot of stress. Like, do you have your adrenaline pumping through your veins? That can trigger outbreaks. Some things I'd like to look at are your diet. There are foods that trigger outbreaks and foods that help suppress outbreaks. So are you doing some of those things? I do have a free download. If you go to my link in the bio, it's it's like 9 things I wish I would have known, or 10 things I wish I would have known. It does talk about certain foods, certain diets, certain things to add or replace or be aware of. So I'd look at that, and I would also get your blood work done. You might be extremely deficient in some certain vitamins that are immune boosting. So I would look at all of that. If you're not on Lysine, I would start taking the Lysine. And if you're not on Monolaurin, I would obviously look into taking this. This is going to help not only with the herpes virus, but other enveloped viruses. So this is going to be really helpful. And I would just look at overall, what can you do to boost your immune system? So those are some things I would personally do to look at. Is the antiviral for herpes the same in HIV patients? No. I'm not familiar so much with HIV, but no, it's not the same. It's a different. So, and I do know that the HIV, the antiviral or whatever you take for HIV can make it undetectable in your body. We don't have that with herpes. It's not undetectable. You still will have it regardless. If I have the antibodies, do I have it? Yes. If you test positive with the antibodies, then you have it. Yes. Can I hug or kiss anyone again? Absolutely. I hug, I kiss, I have sex. I do all the normal things that anyone does with or without herpes. And it's funny, we say normal things. Majority of the population has herpes. 80% of the population has herpes. And so whatever we do is normal. So like having herpes is normal. We don't think it's normal, but it is normal. My mom kissed me and my brother when we were kids and gave us all and didn't care. Yeah. I mean, most people pick this up as a kid at some point, whether it's from daycare, whether it's from school, another kid, a parent, a grandparent, aunt or uncle. My son has about 7 people in his life daily, and 5 of the 7 have HSV1. So it's that common, and my son is around it just like any other child, or we are all around it all the time. How did I contract it? I got HSV1. Someone kissed me with a cold sore, and so I picked it up that way. And HSV2, I dated someone. I had an ex-boyfriend who didn't know he had HSV2, so I got it that way. I wish I could send the site. I read that for you should do more research. It gives positive. Wait, I wish I could send the site. I read that so you could do more research. It gives positive news. Oh yeah, absolutely. I wish you could, I don't know, you can DM me the website. That would be great. What are ways to get tested? There is a couple ways to be diagnosed. Number one would be a clinical diagnosis. It's when a doctor or medical professional looks at your herpes virus, like your outbreak. And they're like, okay, that's a herpes outbreak, and you have the symptoms of a herpes outbreak, and I'm clinically gonna diagnose you. The pros and cons with that are you immediately get relief if you want to take the antiviral. My favorite way to be diagnosed is through Herp Alert. I do have them linked for you. They do add, if you use Life with Herpes, one word, you do get a good discount. They also offer prescription refills. They're your fastest way to get a herpes diagnosis. Another way to get diagnosed is a blood test. Herpes does not live in the blood, but we create antibodies that live in our blood. So when we're doing that, we're doing a blood draw to see if our body has antibodies. If we have antibodies for the herpes virus, then we're positive for the herpes virus. We know what type we have, type 1 or type 2. We may not know where we have it because we actually have to have an outbreak to know where we have it. So you could test positive for HSV1 and it could be oral or genital. You may not know which one it is. And then the third way to get tested or be diagnosed with herpes is to have a swab. So when you have an active outbreak, they're going to virally like swab and get the viral DNA out and then send that off to a lab and look at the viral DNA. The pros and cons to that are you do know that where you have it. If you've had an outbreak, you know where you get herpes, oral or genital. You'll know what type it is. You know if it's type 1 or type 2. If you do it too early or too late, you will probably get a negative result. So perfect example of, I have oral herpes. If you were to test me right now, I don't have an outbreak. I don't know if I'm shedding, but I would say it's like a 99% chance it would come back negative. So those are some things just to think about as far as testing. So for that other thing you were talking about, it's an injection that is monthly to suppress the virus. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know that much about it. There's a lot of research going into herpes cures or herpes vaccine. I personally am of the mindset of something will happen, something will come out. Until then, I want you to live your life, and I want to live your life normally, and I want you not to be held back by having herpes. It's common, it's normal to have herpes, and there's no reason why we should hold ourselves back. So I want us to live more in that mindset rather than I have a problem, I'm broken, and I'm waiting for a cure to fix it. We need to go through the emotional shit in order to get through it, and then that's where you'll find relief. What does my husband say about it? Nothing. I mean, everything. I don't know. He's okay. I mean, it's not ideal. Obviously, like when I say not ideal, outbreaks are not ideal. Does he care that I have herpes? No. Does he care that I get outbreaks? No. Does it get in the way from time to time? Yeah, of course it can. Do we get creative? Yeah. Can other things get in the way of being intimate? Absolutely. But he doesn't care that I have it. He loves me, wants to be with me, and doesn't care that I have herpes. Thank you for the follows, guys. I appreciate that. Is the blood test specifically an IgG or IgM? So an IgG is the one you want. It's going to test the antibody levels. The IgM is when you have your first outbreak or if you have an active outbreak. I get worried about viral shedding to my child even when you don't have outbreaks. Your thoughts? I'm of the mindset I can't worry about something I don't see. I don't kiss my son on the lips. He's not coming in contact with my genitals, so I can't worry about something I don't see. I understand the concern of that. There's a lot of other things I worry about, like my son crossing the street. Like, where am I going to send him to school? Like, did he eat his breakfast? All those other things are bigger concerns because it's something I can't worry about. There's other people that are going to be in his life that have herpes that either know or don't know they have herpes and are going to kiss him, are going to share something with him. So I can't worry just about me. It helps me a lot. The antivirals or the Lysine. Do I do the whole bar inside of me? I don't know. The soap? The soap part? No, just use it all over your body. And then I like to use it specifically when I have a herpes outbreak on the outbreak because it helps with the pain. And it specifically is formulated to fight the herpes. Like the ingredients in it there are essential oils that help soothe wounds and help fight the herpes virus. So you don't put the whole bar inside of you. You just kind of like, How did I get it initially? I was kissed by somebody that had a cold sore, HSV on his mouth. And genitally, I dated somebody who didn't know he had it. So that's how I got that. How about Acyclovir? It's an antiviral. I took it for 3 years. I no longer take the antiviral because I want to be able to fight it naturally. I'm just at the point in my life where I don't want to be taking something daily. I take supplements. I'm working on building my immune system. I personally believe that we can fight our own viruses by boosting our immune system. All right, guys, I have to go. I have a call in 4 minutes. I have to go to the bathroom. Not that you needed to know that. I appreciate you being here. Keep your questions coming. I do go live as often as I can. I appreciate you all. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for asking your question. And I really appreciate you being here. Any of the products I talked about you have questions on, I do have the links in the bio, and they do have information that you can read and learn more about. So go check that out. Again, I appreciate you all and have an awesome, awesome Monday. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Yeah, let's do it. Year's over. Okay, bye guys.